Welcome to Sports Scouts. I'm Joey Goodser.
I'm Mike Arel.
And we are recording this, a long-awaited episode on Thursday, May 2nd, 2019. We're going to talk NFL Draft, playoffs, baseball, and more. But first, Michael, as always, will give you some scout scores.
Yeah, so the boys baseball yesterday defeated Zion 10-0. The boys lacrosse team lost to New Trier 9-8 on Monday night. And the girls lacrosse recently went on a 4-game win streak, including a win over Deerfield on Friday night. Girls soccer's coming down to its last run of the season as the news just came that they are officially a 2 seed in the Antioch sectional in Class 2A of the IHSA tournament. Boys volleyball recently won their second straight Libertyville Invitational.
So yeah, just a little bit of shorter segment this week because things are crazy lately. So just going through the specific scores. But if you want more on the latest in LFHS sports, check out the latest articles. Jen Terosian has some baseball coverage up. Carter Horan has a volleyball recap up there. And Connor Clark has a big Riley Mills feature. All on the 4scout.com. If you didn't hear the sport you wanted to hear or we screwed up somehow, just send in the scores and informative news to sportsscoutspodcast@gmail.com so Michael can give it a shout out. Let's move into national sports and start with Show Me What You've Got. Okay, so for this week's Show Me What You Got, we kind of have a theme here because I'm going to start off with the Carolina Hurricanes, who last time we were sitting in the studio were going into a Game 7 against the defending Stanley Cup champion Washington Capitals and won in overtime in exciting fashion, and now they're already up 3-0 against the New York Islanders in the second round, and it just seems like, we always characterize the Carolina Hurricanes as this team that doesn't do much and then randomly goes on this deep playoff run. So it just seems to be going right up to script, and considering that we've talked about them since the regular season on this show as the funny team with the celebrations, it's adding to the excitement that the Stanley Cup playoffs are having this year. So it's an exciting team to look out for, and we're gonna have to see how this series closes out and how the Carolina Hurricane season comes to an end. Michael, do you want to go?
Yeah. So mine is the Trailblazers. I think I actually mentioned them again last week. So we're kind of an ongoing theme here with the teams we're picking.
Right.
But the Blazers, again, like I said last week, they're a scrappy team, and they lost the first game to Denver, but they came back with a win yesterday to tie the series at 1. But, I mean, they've shown that they are a team that really can't compete with anyone. And I think, and like the last series, Dame Lillard has been their go-to guy. But if he's not making his shots, they have a lot of other guys they can plug in and they can step up for him. And we saw last night, even with Dame getting double team, triple team, that guys like CJ McCollum can step up, make some big shots for them. And when even Jokic too on the Nuggets, they shut him down, and he really felt the pressure from their double teams last night. And even though both teams didn't really shoot very well, I mean, that tenacity on their defense really, it plays well against any team in any series. So they're definitely still a team that can make some noise in the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure we're seeing kind of a theme here with two teams that aren't normally seen as playoff contenders, and they're making their runs this year in this time of year at the same time. So two big kind of fun stories. So let's move into news. Okay, so we're going to start with the NFL Draft. The NFL Draft and all of its ensuing festivities took place in Nashville over the weekend, with the usual load of stories being produced from the event. So, Michael, which draft moves do you prioritize as the most significant positive move, the most significant good thing that happened, and the most significant negative move, the most significant bad thing that happened?
Yeah, so I think for the most positive move, I mean, it's got to be right number 1 and number 2 for Kyler Murray, of course. Cliff Kingsbury, the new head coach for the Cardinals, of course, he's getting the guy he wanted, so that's kind of expected that that pick was going to happen. But also for the 49ers, to get a guy like Nick Bosa at number 2, that probably should have been number 1. It's another steal, but the team that I wanted to mention the most is the Jacksonville Jaguars getting Josh Allen from Kentucky, who's a guy that should not have been there at number 7, I believe their pick was, and he could have easily been a top 3 pick. But, of course, with the Giants doing what they did and taking the quarterback, not Dwayne Haskins, taking Daniel Jones, was kind of a surprise, of course. And they could have gotten Josh Allen, but instead he fell to the Jaguars, and that just solidifies an already really solid defense that the Jaguars had in place. And, of course, having a guy like Nick Foles on their offense this year and already keeping that same defense that they had in 2016 more or less, they're a team that could definitely rebound really solidly this year and make another deep run like they did a couple years ago. But having a guy like having Foles on like Bortles too is a huge difference. But having Allen, especially now, that is a huge upgrade for them.
Yeah, for sure. Lots of very, very, we talked about this with Jay when we had the guest segment, but it's a very, very exciting class in that, Kyler Murray's the face of it, but then there's this underlying just load of defensive talent that's really going to probably make a huge impact on the NFL pretty quickly relative to other classes and, how fast they kind of shift in to the NFL. So we're going to have to look out for that. Most significant negative move, what do you have?
I think I'm still shaking my head about the Giants pick.
Yeah. There's not that many other places to go except there.
I mean, I feel bad for the kid, I think, because he's definitely a talented player, of course, being picked where
For
he was,
sure.
or being picked, number 6 overall. He definitely has some talent, but I mean, just the record that, coming out of Duke, he's not. It's kind of like a Mitch Trubisky kind of pick. Like he wasn't really a big, like top program like Patrick Mahomes was.
Right.
Texas Tech, like a Big 12 school or an SEC team, but I mean the ACC is no joke. But the Duke's kind of known for the basketball and not really a football school. So it's kind of like Mitch Trubisky, North Carolina,
Right.
basketball school, not a football school, but kind of. Still very talented players, but I just think that he can easily get thrown under the radar. I mean, I'm not saying he's going to be a bad player, but just for the sake of the Giants situation, I mean, fans wanted to get somebody that they could rally themselves behind, and he's not really like Trubisky. Kind of like, if I'm comparing them, I guess now that they're kind of similar guys that they just will kind of willing to fall underneath the radar, and they're kind of just going to do their own thing, but they're not going to be kind of flashy like other players would. And I think that's kind of something that Giants fans wanted, so it's going to be hard for them to stick with him, I think, especially after Dave Gettleman, their GM, was saying that he could stay behind Eli for another 3 years, which is something that he should not be saying. And I mean, I get that he should sit for a little bit behind him, but I mean, maybe just half a season maybe. But I think before, and in this new kind of NFL, you see rookie quarterbacks out there in their first season, the first couple of games, so the age of letting the guys sit for a couple of years, like we saw with Aaron Rodgers under Brett Favre, I mean, those days are kind of gone. So they're going to need to get something out of him, I think, this year to get some progress going into 2020.
Yeah,
so I'm a little worried for that pick already.
It just reeks so many similarities to Mitch Trubisky. It's kind of crazy. I think that in the end, like with Mitch Trubisky, Giants fans could be proven wrong in this whole thing. And I think that lots of the time we look at flashy quarterbacks in college and we look forward to their NFL draft pick, and honestly, they either don't finish that high or they get picked and they're kind of bust because they're just not prepared for the NFL size and the physicality. And, all the running around that they did in college kind of doesn't work in an NFL system. So, as a result, there's these under-the-radar quarterbacks who are NFL ready and just aren't, being NFL ready does not necessarily, and at least in my opinion, mean performing super, super well in college.
Yeah.
And, doesn't necessarily mean you're on the best team ever. So every once in a while there's going to be these picks. And so, I mean, I don't know. Things could turn out well for the Giants, but, considering the fan reaction and considering what's going on right now, it's definitely difficult.
Yeah,
so,
he could very well be a really good pick, but just considering the environment that's the Giants has surrounded themselves with their fans, of course, being very passionate, trying to get a guy like Dwayne Haskins, who they thought they were going to get. It's going to be hard for him to, I guess, overcome that. And seeing that Dwayne Haskins being in Washington, a division rival, having to face them 2 times a year, I mean, if he starts to play really well, Dwayne Haskins, I mean, that's going to make it even tougher for him to succeed, I think. And he's feeling the pressure, I think, already, and he hasn't even stepped foot on the field yet. So it's going to be interesting to see where they go with, I guess, having Eli this year as the bridge kind of guy for him, and then letting him rip, I guess. Letting the ball rip for him, whether it's a couple games from now or a season from now. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see what they do with him, and I don't know. It's going it's going to be a wild ride, I think, for that.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Yep. So
yeah.
I guess now we'll move on to hockey. So Joey, hockey continues with more of the second round, the Stanley Cup playoffs, and considering our previous conversation about the new division systems, I guess kind of the stamina of this new system, do you think the NHL has maintained excitement going into the second round with this new format, I guess?
So now that we're seeing it, and it's going to be a lot more figured out once we have a Stanley Cup champion and once this is all over. But I'm definitely, now that we're kind of in the midst of the second round and kind of seeing the remaining teams that somehow found their way out of the crazy first round, I think that the NHL, as a result of the system, at least now is going to take a just public kind of ratings hit. I think that this isn't good for upfront presentation to the average sports fan who doesn't necessarily dive into hockey too much, because there are teams that people know with players that people know, and not a lot of those teams are still in this playoffs. So there's that, and that's kind of a negative, and I think that that's going to take a hit on the NHL, at least for this year until things can adjust. But on the other hand, as far as the game itself, I think it totally has maintained excitement, at least somewhat out of what my expectations were. I personally, for me, I think it's just because all these new teams that haven't had the chance to do what they're currently doing, and now they're set up to potentially win a championship. So there's kind of that storyline, and there's all these young teams with new star players who are kind of going all out to make their run as a team to win another cup. It's something we haven't seen in a while, considering that there's been a lot of dynasties lately in the NHL, and there's kind of just this long era of dynasties through the end of the 2000s into the 2010s. I mean, the Hawks were a huge part of it. We know when we were here. I mean, that was a big thing.
For sure.
This is not that anymore. And so that's kind of exciting about it, is it's something different. The only obvious negative, though, is that at first, until new narratives develop, until new stars completely rise up, it's going to be a little bit of a ratings hit. But if you trust the game and you tune in a little bit, it gets pretty exciting. I mean, there was just a great, late third period tied game between the Carolina Hurricanes and the New York Islanders last night. Hurricanes won, as I said. They're up 3-0, as I said in the top of the show. Late goal by Justin Williams, who's their captain, is known for being clutch and coming in late and making those big plays, and that's what he did. And so, the games themselves are exciting. It's just a matter of trying to get people attracted to it, and that's going to take a little bit of time.
Yeah, the only thing I'm worried about, though, is going into the next season to see how this new system plays out, for a wear and tear kind of situation, I guess.
Right. Will
guys be fatigued going into the next year? I think could be possibly a worry, but I think I don't really see a problem with it. I think guys will. I think it's just guys just want to win right now, and I don't think this is going to be a problem going. Maybe you rest the guys for a couple games. I don't know how it's going to play out. I mean, they have plenty of time, I think, till the next. I don't think that's going to be a worry, but they have a longer off season.
It'll definitely be interesting to see how it affects the teams that are normally in it forever, and now they're out. So.
Yeah, so I don't know. It could possibly kind of wear off to the next, kind of the start of next year, but I mean, I think the players should be okay for the most part.
Okay. Moving on, one of the larger ongoing subjects on the show in the past weeks was the Cubs' struggles. Now things have changed, though, as Chicago recently has surged up to second place in the NL Central standings. The 7-3 last 10 games record, too, that's brought them back far over 500, and they're kind of in a different place now. So, Michael, what changed for the Cubbies, and how long can things stay solid?
It really hasn't been the offense, because it's been consistent all year long. They've been scoring runs since the first day of the year.
Somehow. I don't even know how that became our strong suit.
Yeah, I think part of it's getting rid of Chili Davis from last year.
That's definitely part of it.
I don't know what he did there, but whatever it was, it didn't work. So, but yeah, the offense. I mean, guys like that, we really haven't. There really hasn't even been the big boppers like Rizzo or Bryant. It's been more near the bottom of the order. Guys like Bodie, I guess back to the top. Kind of a surprise is Daniel Descalso. Those are two guys that have been solid for us. Another guy Wilson Contreras has bounced back really well this year. Jason Hayward, another guy. So the offense hasn't been a problem at all, but I can say what has helped us the most is more than the offense is, of course, the starting pitching, because let's look at John Lester again last night. I think he went 7. Gave up 1. I know I only gave up 1 hit, but I believe it was either 7 or 8, but I think it was 7. 8 strikeouts, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
He was great in his second start back from the DL, or the IL, they call it now. Injured list. That's another conversation to get into. But I just think that with the way the rotation has been going, Quintana's been excellent the last month. That start of the year, honestly, he's been phenomenal. And Cole Hamels has still been Cole Hamels. And I just think that the bullpen, the bullpen has clearly changed their dynamic too, with the rotation being able to go 6, 7 every night. It just makes it a lot easier for the bullpen. They're well rested. Of course, after that D-backs game, everyone's kind of exhausted a little bit still, but the bullpen has been really well rested these last couple of days or last couple of weeks. And I just think a lot of guys have stepped up in the bullpen, like Alan Webster that they have there. He's stepped up really well. That Kyle Ryan has been really solid. He doesn't throw very hard, but
things are definitely getting better.
Yeah, Dylan Maples has been called up, and he's been really he's contributed. He's a nasty slider. He hasn't been in many games, but who knows? He could possibly be something for the bullpen. Strope's been all right. Steve Shusak's been all right. So I mean, I think the team. Brandon Morrow is still on the shelf for quite a while, but I mean the Cubs have been dealt with the cards they've been given for the bullpen this year. Joe Madden, that is, he's been dealt with his cards, but I mean he's put a bullpen together that he can win with, I still think, and
right.
I mean, it's not the best bullpen in the world, but I mean he's put together, I mean, a bullpen that works for now, and I think that with the rotation the way it is, I mean, just makes it a lot easier for them. It takes a lot of pressure off them. Yeah,
for sure. I think it's, bullpen is in a better position now. Obviously, I mean, they're getting better results. Obviously, they have a better situation right now. I do think it's a temporary fix. I think that the bullpen's still a long-term issue that Theo's going to have to really look into. I mean, we've said it many times on the show that it's like there's going to need to be some ground-up rebuilding right now, and, that's going to eventually happen. But for right now, they have kind of a good patch over the wound at least. So things are getting better, and hopefully they can find some consistency at the right time once this season moves really close to the postseason, because that's the one issue. That's the other kind of issue that they had last year that they probably should get rid of is you don't want a bunch of streakiness. Hopefully we see some rising consistency. So that's what we should look forward to, hopefully.
I mean, but it has been encouraging, though, I guess, to say the least.
It's been helpful for sure.
Would I want this bullpen going into an NLCS Game 7? I don't think so.
Right. Not at all.
Who knows what Theo could do? I mean, he possibly at the trade deadline could get someone, maybe. But, I mean, with the Cubs situation and the farm system, I don't know. They could be kind of hesitant, I guess, to do something. But, of course, Craig Kimball's still out there, but I don't really want him that much.
Yeah.
Considering that the amount of money we have to give him just for like half a season this year, and then however many years he tacks on, and he's just
for sure
keep going downhill from there. So, it'll be interesting to see how they play it out. But the bullpen it's been really solid the last couple of weeks. So hopefully they keep it up and stay as consistent as they've been. Yeah.
Okay. So let's move on.
So now, we're gonna go back to we're gonna go to the NBA playoffs now. We've talked the NHL playoffs, baseball. It's not the NBA. So Joey, the NBA playoffs are also going on, like we said, with the second round getting going currently. And Joey, are there more things to look forward to now in the NBA playoffs going into the second round?
I'm somehow a little bit more excited. I'm a little bit more intrigued. We have 8 teams that look pretty decent and some fun matchups. I definitely, Bucks Celtics was kind of awaited, and now we're getting that matchup, and it's kind of a strong matchup to look forward to, especially if you're more of an East Midwest guy like us, and have those teams that we can more closely relate to. I think that's kind of a cool matchup. 76ers Raptors has kind of been fun still. I mean, the series is 1-1 right now, so I mean, things are looking good there. Warriors Rockets is one that's been awaited for a long time, although the Rockets are kind of in not so great shape considering James Harden's injury and all of that stuff going on right now. So that might not live up to be what it was supposed to be, unfortunately. So that's kind of a one downside. But you have your good mix of, one of the benefits that the NBA has in these remaining 8 teams that the NHL does not have in their remaining 8 teams is they do have at least one superpower, obviously the Golden State Warriors. So it's kind of good to have that, at least one team to throw into kind of a new mix. Portland Trailblazers and Denver Nuggets, we talked about the Trailblazers, and they're taking on a Nuggets team that's like kind of quietly doing a really, really good job this season. So that's kind of just the fun, underlying 2 teams in that one matchup. So I think it adds up to a pretty good second round, and hopefully we see the right wins out of it to make some exciting matchups. I would hopefully look forward to I don't know. I mean, the biggest series right now for me is Bucks Celtics, and we're gonna see who comes out of that.
Yeah,
but
that was a really great game. Yeah, that game 2. I was a little worried after that game 1, the way it went down. It's gonna be another. Here we go again. Al Horford versus Ekechumbo, another shutdown game from him. But the Bucks and Giannis responded very well the next game. But I'll let you keep going. Yes, sir.
Yeah, no, that's basically it. I mean, I think that they got the right results they needed out of the first round, and we got some fun matchups. So
yep.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to some NBA excitement for now. It, depending on the results, it might go back down a little bit, but it'll always be good by the finals. So we'll see what happens.
The only thing though is the Rockets too. I'm a little worried about them. I mean, they've been complaining nonstop about the referees. Well, you got to go out and play at some point
for sure.
Which I think
a lot of complaining.
I mean, I understand. I understand where they're coming from. I mean, watching that game 1, I mean, there was a lot of questionable calls, and of course the Rockets, they've gone back and studied the tape from previous years too, and they put together a case that they have. However, I don't know how many calls it was, but it was a lot of, I don't know, it was like 40 or 50 something calls that they picked out that the refs blew against them, other games against the Warriors. But I just think, this is not the time to be complaining. I mean, what are you going to tell your fans?
Is just not the time at all.
By the way, yeah. What are you going to tell the fans? By the way, we could have won the series last year if they didn't blow these calls. So you're just going to go out there and say we could have did something instead of actually going and doing it, not overcoming the adversity. I just think that, that's not a good message you want to send to the players, to the fans, that you're just okay with saying, we could have won, but we didn't, even though, they're a talented team. They could still win without trying to getting a kind of a participation trophy, that is just saying, we could have did this, but they're a talented team to go out there. They're good enough to go out there and get it done themselves. And I think that James Harden needs to, of course, he suffered that eye injury, but they said there was no damage in his eye, so that's good for them. But being back in Houston, they're going to have to figure something out before they find themselves in a 3-0 hole. I just think I still think that it's going to be a lot to overcome from down 2-0 already, being what they've faced already as a team. But I just think that's just a bad message that they're sending to their fans right now, that the team is more worried about missed calls than they are about trying to win a game.
Yeah,
so
definitely the one disappointment out of the second round.
Yeah,
for sure. I wish that this was going to be a more competitive matchup, but it's just not turning out that way, which is unfortunate for the NBA and
the league as a whole,
for entertainment.
As a league, it's been I thought it was going to be. I think the most intriguing series is probably back in the East for the Bucks and the Celtics. That's
for sure
a really good series.
I'm fine with that. That's a fun matchup.
That's gonna be good.
Okay, so this show has kind of been a short show, but one of the reasons why it is a short show is because we have such a big, exciting guest segment this week. It's been waited for a while. So since we had Jay on last week, we said that they will return, and they're coming back. Ryan Peters and Carson Ward sat down with me yesterday, and we
I was disappointed I couldn't come on.
I know.
I was out sick yesterday, but I heard it was a really good segment.
They were questioning that's for sure. But it was a good
I've been
segment.
coughing the whole show, so
it was a crazy segment. It went all over the place. But I guess that was the fun of it. So enjoy this week's Let's Sit Down, and then we'll be back soon. But make sure to be entertained by it. Hey guys, so as hyped, Carson and Peters will be our guests on this week's Let's Sit Down segment. And as they are being characters on the show in the Your Scouting segment, we decided that it'd be best to do a hot take segment, just a general hot take segment. And it was very, very free-flowing, and it kind of goes all over the place, and they talk about all the recent happenings in sports. So just be prepared for some really unstructured podcasting in this next segment, and we'll get back to the show. But until then, just enjoy wherever this segment takes us. Sit back, relax, and be entertained, and, of course, laugh a little. You got to enjoy the long-time caller, first-time listeners. So here's the segment.
Hello, long-time caller, first-time listener. And, listen, I know you've had me and Peters on the show to talk about March Madness, which I won the 4 Scout March Madness bracket challenge, by the way. But I know I still haven't been on for like in a normal show just to talk about all the happenings going on in sports. And I think that you and Rob are scared. You know, I noticed that Rob wasn't there when me and Peters were on. I think he's terrified of us and our hot takes. And now I hear that you were having Jada Coster on the show instead of us, and he has been accused by numerous people of stealing other people's takes, and I just find it grossly offensive, and I'm just wondering when you're going to man up, put us on the show. I'll hang up and listen.
Okay, welcome to this week's Let's Sit Down, and we got 2 guests here that have been long awaited, and everybody knew was coming, of course. Our longtime caller, first-time listeners.
First of all, happy holidays. Thanks for having us, Joey.
Yeah.
And Shaw, because you couldn't hear me last time, I will be yelling. So if you can't hear me, then you're deaf.
Okay. Yeah, so that's what we're doing just to make sure that the sound works out here. We had a bunch of technical difficulties, so we're making sure that does not happen. But yeah, so we had Jay on last week, so it only made sense to have the 2 of you guys on now. But we're just gonna roll through the latest stuff in sports, and we're just gonna see where the hot takes you guys spit out takes us.
I mean, it's great to see Ralph here, like really showing up. I mean, was this the 2nd time in a row he's missed us? The 2 times we've been
He's
on?
scared of us.
He's scared.
Apparently he's sick. That's what I'm hearing.
I'm not buying it. I'm not buying that. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay. So I think so that's too bad, because this was gonna be a full 4-person roundtable, but now it's only the 3 of us again. But regardless, we're going to roll through everything here. So I think the place that we should start is the place where you guys stormed in, which was on NFL draft coverage. And now that, the 3 days of the NFL draft has been complete, definitely want to hear what you guys are thinking as far as that goes.
Okay, what I'm first going to start out with is I think the Buffalo Bills had one of the best drafts. Now they have Josh Allen and Tyree Jackson. That's 6'5" and 6'7", both at the QB position. I think they could easily make a Super Bowl run this year.
Ooh.
Yeah, Tyree Jackson, he's got a rocket arm just like Josh Allen. And I think they could do some 2 quarterback formations, have them both on the field at the same time, utilize the best of their offensive talents.
Maybe some wildcat.
That's pretty.
Yeah.
2 quarterbacks is pretty innovative. We'll have to see what happens there for sure.
And then,
you said the Buffalo Bills have a Super Bowl run chance. Do they win the Super Bowl though? Because that's the big thing with Bills fans.
So here's the deal. I think they might. My other team in the Super Bowl is actually the Green Bay Packers. So that's because now they have. Running backs don't really matter. They're completely irrelevant. But the one running back in this draft that mattered the most is Dexter Williams, and the Green Bay Packers got him. And he is one of the best prospects we've seen with his burst since, I'm just going to throw some names out here, Walter Payton or Barry Sanders. And then you pair that with, everyone knows when they think of the Packers, they think of the best quarterback in the world, Deshaun Kaiser. Then you pair that Kaiser, Williams, and Equanimeous St. Brown. That's a formidable offense. The only problem is I think they had a really bad draft for their defense. They get that Rashawn Gary guy. He struggles.
He's a bust.
I don't think he's going to be that great.
We're going to see what happens with that injury.
Yeah, but that Super Bowl, it's going to be tough. It's a kind of a toss-up between the Packers and Bills right now.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so not surprised with the Dexter Williams take, considering you said he was better than Saquon Barkley last week. Now you're going all the way up to Walter Payton, Barry Sanders level. So we're going to have to see how that works out for Green Bay. But Carson, what are you thinking about the draft right now?
I'm gonna be honest. I'm not too happy with the Bears draft. As Peter said, running backs are not really the most important position, so I don't really get why we would trade up to get a running back in David Montgomery. And Montgomery's a pretty decent, he's elusive. He can break
Great.
tackles. He's good out of the backfield. But, giving him an extra 4th-round pick for him to move up, I just don't see it. I think we should have went for the defense or on the offensive line with that pick.
The Bears' undrafted free agents, though. Harry Highstand, their offensive line coach, he got Alex Bars and Sam Mustipher, who are both steals after the draft.
Yeah, and then the next pick was Riley Ridley, and I knew he was Calvin Ridley's brother, but I kind of looked at him after we picked him, and he just had a bad combine, and his stats in college weren't that impressive.
I don't think the combine actually plays for the players. I don't think people are running 40-yard dashes in games.
That's a fair point, but also his production in college was just pretty bad. I don't think he cracked 700 yards in a single season. But I do like the undrafted free agent signing of Emmanuel Hall at the wide receiver position, because he's a great deep threat. He could add an extra level to that offense next year. And I think the offense will have to take a step forward next year, because I think the defensive production for the Bears is a bit unsustainable, and it's going to come back down to earth a little bit. But if the offense does take the next step forward, if Trubisky keeps improving his game and continues to gel with these wide receivers, then I think that the Bears can make another playoff run, and maybe hopefully deeper next time, despite the tougher schedule this year.
Okay, so that's kind of what's going on with the draft right now. Is there anything else you guys would like to mention draft-wise?
I'd like to mention, I think the Giants had a pretty solid draft. Daniel Jones is a great pick at number 6. He's tall, he's smart, and he looks pretty good in shorts. The arm's not quite there, but I think he can get it up to rocket level status in a couple years.
Mm-hmm.
My only problem is they drafted Dexter Lawrence, who's like Jay DeCoster and has zero integrity. As we know, he was suspended for the college football playoff this year. But it's just, I'm not entirely sure about that pick just because he lacks integrity, just like Jay DeCoster.
Yeah, but Daniel Jones had the same coach as Peyton Manning.
David Cutcliffe, yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And he had a great quote during the draft that Daniel Jones has real swag by having no swag.
Yep.
And that really spoke to me.
Yeah, that's definitely a hot take right now. So that's one of the biggest conversations of this draft. So we're gonna have to see what Daniel Jones does.
Yeah.
But
my last thing is the Los Angeles Chargers also had a great draft. Jerry Tillery, Drew Tranquil, and then they signed Tyler Newsome, one of the best punting prospects anyone has ever seen. I think that's a great draft.
Okay. Carson, anything else to mention?
Yeah, I also think the Nasir Adderley pick, the safety out of Delaware, is a good pick. He can play well alongside Derwin James, who I thought was a good pick last year too, and he really proved it last year. Him and Derwin Leonard were the best defensive rookies last year.
All right. Yeah. Anybody else, or are we going to move forward here? Where do you guys want to move?
Let's move to the let's do NBA playoffs first.
Okay.
Yeah.
NBA playoffs. What are you guys thinking right now?
I think Jimmy G Buckets has come to play. We know he had an off game. I think it was in game 2. But he has been balling. I'm looking at his stats right here. He had 30, 11, and 5 in the last game. That's the Jimmy G Buckets us Chicagoans have come to know.
Yeah, I think the Sixers, they could get past the Raptors. Jimmy G Buckets, he's a great player, one of my favorites when he was on the Bulls. And as you know, the Warriors and Rockets are playing right now. I think the Warriors got this in the bag.
Yeah, just because, James Harden, was he blazed during that game? Why was his eyes
He was smoking
bloodshot?
marijuana.
I think he was doing drugs during the game.
Yeah.
That needs to be addressed by
I am
Adam
calling
Silver.
for Adam Silver
possibility.
to suspend him.
And he disguised it as an eye injury. I'm not buying it. I think he was smoking drugs.
I got a hot take. I think he's been smoking marijuana this whole playoff because he has been shooting very poorly.
Yeah.
A lot of people were ragging on Russell Westbrook for his poor shooting percentage, but Harden's been shooting just as bad. And I think because in the playoffs, they don't have as many tough foul calls, so he can't just flop for all those free throws and get all those points like he does in the regular season. He's a fraud.
Yeah, he's not gritty. Doesn't have the grit it takes to be like a Jimmy Buckets, but
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think he deserves the MVP. It's got to go to someone like Giannis or Otto Porter.
And then can we talk about how a LeBron team was not in the playoffs? And you know why he was not in the playoffs? 2 words, Mo Wagner. single-handedly held the Lakers back from the playoffs.
Yeah, I got to agree with you there. And also, I think his wine addiction has gotten the best of him.
Sheesh.
Yeah, he's always drinking wine in his story. He's not setting a good example for the children of America.
Hey, give him a break. He needs to manage his load. I mean, it's
yeah.
not like his job is to be a basketball player. So, I mean, he's got to manage all his other jobs.
Yeah, his job to trade all the young talent for Anthony Davis.
He is a pretty much a team favorite right now, though. So I don't know where the Lakers are gonna have to move with that because, yeah, I mean, there's probably some conflict there. If you guys are saying Mo Wagner's the bane of the Lakers' existence right now, but yeah, for sure. Okay, so anybody else in the NBA you want to talk about right now? We've got the Rockets and the Lakers already.
Playoff Chris Middleton, 7 threes last night. I think just end the playoffs, give the title to the Bucks. Saying it right now.
Okay.
Yeah, Bucks
recording this on a Wednesday, FYI.
Pat Connaughton was going off. Like he's one of the best players in the NBA. It's hands down. It's simple. Just if you watch him play, you'll see crazy athletic and just makes a formidable backcourt with the blood show.
All right. Carson, anything else? NBA playoffs?
Can't wait to see the Bulls in it next year.
Okay.
Yeah.
How do you think they're building things back right now?
Ryan Arcidiacono. I think they're building around him, and I think they'll make it.
Okay.
I think it'll be pretty easy for them just to coast through the Eastern Conference next year.
Yeah, I really hope they win the lottery so they can draft that Duke player that everyone's talking about, Cameron Reddish.
No,
or Jack White.
Jack White.
Jack White. Yeah.
Okay.
Jack White. He can add a whole level of versatility and 3-point shooting to the team.
Wait. Did Brad Davison enter the draft?
No, I think he's staying at college.
Okay, then next year, in 2 years, we could possibly have him and Ryan Arcidiacono. Think about how many charges the Bulls would take. With Jim Boylan, the best coach in the NBA, I don't see anything holding us back. I think I'm talking like 82-0.
I could see that happening. Yeah.
Maybe they even signed Jason Giambi. Like,
yeah.
Just saying, just throwing it out there.
Could be a crazy Bulls team next year. Yeah, that's for sure. Eastern Conference is kind of slowly building up, though, so they're going to have to work their way around some teams coming in the future, though.
I don't think it'll be a problem for the Jim Boylan Bulls.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't care if the Celtics sign Anthony Davis. We'll still wipe the floor with them.
Okay, so NBA playoffs, anything else we should mention here? Or are we all good?
Yeah, we're all good with that.
Yeah.
Okay. Probably moving to MLB, I'm thinking.
Yep, moving to MLB.
Okay, so
First,
kind of season's getting started.
The first thing
here.
is that we're going to talk about is when is Kyler Murray going to be called up to the Oakland Athletics?
Yeah, I think they're biding their time with them, just waiting for him to develop more as a hitter, work on his vision at the plate.
I mean, he's already a great base runner, but I think he could work on his arm and makes him a great outfield prospect.
Yeah, I could see him winning the Rookie of the Year next year.
I don't think he'll be up next year, maybe 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna have to see how that works out between the two parties with the Arizona Cardinals and.
Wait. What with the Arizona Cardinals?
He got drafted first overall.
Sure about that? I thought
he went 10th overall, I thought, by the Oakland Athletics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was 9th.
I mean, I'm talking football right now.
He's a baseball player.
I think you're talking about Trevor Knight, the Oklahoma QB.
No, he's
Maybe Dwayne Haskins. I'm confused.
He's a multi-sport athlete. I know that in 2019 we don't really know what that is right now, but yeah, he's a potential MLB and NFL player.
Why would you ever play football when you could play
sources?
America's pastime?
Who are your sources?
My sources? Kyler Murray.
I'm not buying it.
Yeah. He's too short to play in the NFL.
Let me check the Onion. Yeah, I'm not seeing it. I'll have to do some more research. But
the Onion's your primary source?
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, 9th.
That's a reliable one.
Right
Chicago
here, Oakland
brand,
Athletics
too.
selected Murray with the 9th overall selection in the 2018 MLB draft.
Okay, but moving on to real baseball, the Iowa Cubs, 15 runs
We're gonna
in the
talk
first
about this.
inning.
This is a big one.
This is maybe the greatest performance of all time. I'm not one to overreact, but 15 runs in the first inning. I think was it 11 with 2 outs? Let me look this up.
I'm gonna roll through the entire thing because this is absolutely insane. I saw this the other day and I was like, I didn't believe it happened. I had to click on it because it's wow. Okay, this is how the inning looked like. You get strikeout, walk, hit by pitch, walk, grand slam, fly out, double, walk, single, double, walk, double, walk, grand slam, ground out. They went through the batting order 2 times, multiple times. Yeah. Crazy inning, and they only hit 8 runs worth of grand slams, and otherwise they got all the way up to 15, and a lot of those were 2 outs. Just absolutely crazy first inning, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
we got to talk about the Chicago White Sox, too, tying an MLB record for 20 strikeouts in a 9-inning game. Yeah. Pretty impressive, huh?
Which one's the bigger accomplishment?
I mean, I got to go with the Iowa
inning.
Cubs for sure.
Even
I can admit that.
Because you have to score runs to win. I mean, if you could strike people out, but when you're the White Sox and you have washed up Eloy Jimenez that you're just going, who's injured because he's a wimp and has no grit, you're just going nowhere with the White Sox.
Tim Anderson, he is a legit MVP candidate. He hits stingers. He pimps those stingers with his sick bat flips.
You want to talk about bat flips?
Yeah, bat flips.
Victor
is a big
Caratini
conversation.
after his grand slam. That is the best bat flip I've seen to this date. Changed my mind. Okay, let's talk about the best team in Chicago, though. Opening day, May 17th. The Big Z, Butch Hobson, Gary South Shore Railcats. I don't know about you, but this just screams America in baseball, and I'm excited.
Season start rate. It's
May 17th is opening day, the world's largest gathering of wieners.
Yes.
Besides any Michigan football game.
No. It is. They're handing out free hot dog costumes to everyone.
Wow.
Yep. I will be in attendance myself.
That's exciting. We're gonna have to get some coverage of
journalism
that.
Field. Yeah, I'll get an interview with the Big Z.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's definitely the most exciting story. Little did we know that. First of all, he's even going to make a comeback, and then to come to the team in Chicago that we're all talking about. Of course, that's pretty big. So we'll see how that season works out, May 17th. But yeah.
Can move on to the Cubs now.
Yeah.
Starting to pick it up. I think they're 15-12 now. Win against the actually surprisingly solid Seattle Mariners.
Starting to pull things
I don't know how they're starting to win just with Victor Caratini out, but he's off to a hot start. And then Jason Hayward, MVP, is that I think that's reasonable at this point, having his best season to date. Let me pull up his stats.
What do you think is the biggest factor to kind of the turnaround that's led them to start to pull wins together lately as opposed to the rough start?
I think Caratini's just a great locker room or dugout presence and clubhouse presence. I think he just motivates the players and gets it going up because, our manager's useless, Joe Madden. All he does is drink wine and sit on Benny's Beverage Depot commercials. Now he's opening up a restaurant even though he's going to be fired in 6 months.
And you have your opinions about the front office too.
Yes, oh man. Theo Epstein needs to go. I'm sorry.
Yeah, how's Yu Darvish treating you with that $20 million a year contract?
What has he played 6 games? I think he went 6 innings, which was I don't even think he's gone 6 innings yet. I think let me see if you.
Honestly, the fact that he's even gone 6 innings is kind of remarkable.
I'm not sure he has. I know he went 5 1/3. That may have been 2 starts ago. Let me see.
Yeah, I feel like it's gonna get to a point where they're gonna have to admit that Yu Darvish was a failed.
Theo can at least be happy that Tyler Chatwood is able to go on the mound and get an out. He's been able to do that lately. But it's unbelievable. Theo's got some explaining to do.
For sure. I think he knows that. Based on what he's said lately, he's definitely stepping up to the criticism and saying he's going to make some changes. So we're going to have to see what happens with him. For sure. Like
Brandon Morrow. Oh, wow. We watch him pitch 7 times in a World Series. Oh, let's sign him. He's, 34? Nothing can go wrong there. Oh, yeah, he's injured all the time. Thanks, Theo.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Anything else with the Cubs right now?
I think the Cincinnati Reds are the best team in the NL Central.
Ooh, okay.
They've been starting to turn it up lately. I know Jesse Winker hit a game-winning home run the other night. Yasiel Puig, Wild Horse, is starting to turn it up. Luis Castillo, best pitcher in MLB. I think he had a 1.23 ERA going into last night. I think he went 6 2/3, giving up 2 runs. But La Piedra has been dealing. It's impressive to watch.
Yeah, the one thing about the Reds, I don't know if you guys saw this recently. There was some crazy Joey Votto stat.
Oh, he popped out for the first time.
Yeah, he
6,000 at bats or something.
That's crazy. So. The Reds are currently 12 and 17.
They're turning it around.
Fourth, they're gonna start turning around. Okay.
Yeah, no, they have been lately.
Okay.
They got off to a slow start, but and then Nick Sensil, their top prospect, might be coming up this week actually. But they're a team to watch.
Yeah, I mean it's been a long time since we've seen the Reds kind of make their presence in the NL Central lately, considering there's lots of potential playoff contenders over the last couple of years, and the Reds haven't seemed to be one of them. So turnaround coming.
Yeah, ever since they fired Dusty Baker, it's just been impossible to even think about the playoffs because they fired the best manager in baseball. But
second best,
Butch Hobson.
Yeah.
He needs to clean himself up. He's with the Red Sox. We don't need to go into that. But now he's the best manager in the independent baseball, which is real baseball. But he'll clean it up.
Okay.
And for the White Sox, I just received word that the White Sox promoted Lewis Robert from to Double-A, and he was batting .453 with 8 home runs in 19 games.
Let me ask you.
With the Class A Winston-Salem team.
Let me ask you a question. Does anybody care?
I think at least there are a few White Sox fans in this school. I'm pretty sure
that cares about the Winston-Salem. If you want to talk about minor league,
this is the future of the Chicago
Cubs.
White Sox.
The South Bend Cubs. all that needs to be said. They're the
White Sox are the team on the rise.
Best organization.
Just wait till Michael Kopech is back.
Wait till Carlos Zambrano is promoted from the Dogs to make the never-before-seen jump from the Chicago Dogs to the Chicago Cubs.
What's he gonna do? Hit another Gatorade?
It's grit. It's grit. He's passionate.
He's passionate.
He cares
He'll be great
about
forces with
the
Victor
game.
Caratini.
Yes. That would be
the combination of Carlos Zambrano.
It would be the second
Victor
comeback
Caratini
of John Lester and Grandpa Rossi. Victor Caratini and Carlos Zambrano.
I can see it now.
To see.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we are kind of 45 minutes north of the city, so I don't know how many White Sox fans we got.
No, I'm not saying it's about the White Sox fans. I'm just saying he sounds like a mediocre player for a mediocre Double-A team. The Tennessee Smokies would destroy the Winston-Salem, whatever they are.
I gotta disagree there, but whatever. I mean, now that Robert's in Birmingham, then I think that Tennessee Smokers could have a chance then.
Smokies. I mean, Smokers would be a great name, but
yeah.
Would James Harden be on that team? Is that?
No, well, I mean that, but I'm talking about smokers, like smoke meat in.
Ooh,
but
yeah.
And then can we talk about can Christian Yelich be drug tested? Same with Cody Bellinger. It's obvious they're on something. I think on Pardon My Take the other night, Big Cat actually slipped in steroids into his drink. It's obvious that he's on. It's obvious that he's on steroids. I don't. Rob Manfred needs to address that. And then Eric Thames, best player on that team. It's pretty obvious. He hit that walk-off dinger 2 years ago, and ever since then, his imposing frame has just scared everything out of every other MLB player except Victor Caratini.
Okay. Any other MLB stuff while we're in it, or baseball stuff in general? I guess we covered Chicago Dogs and the like. So.
Not that I can think of, no.
Okay, so is there any other sports places you want to move? There's a lot of other stuff going on right now. There's Stanley Cup playoffs. There's
oh yeah, because I've been watching so much hockey.
Big hockey guy over here.
I'm gonna look up how.
What's going on with the one seed being swept? What was that?
Yeah, all I kind of heard was that the
Playoff
Lightning
excitement.
were good and then they choked.
Yeah, they were kind of tied for.
How are the Blackhawks doing?
Yeah, they're out of the playoffs,
Uh-oh,
but they
here.
did somehow snag the third pick in the lottery, so there's that.
They could take maybe R.J. Barrett.
Yeah,
put him on skates.
Does Kyler Murray play hockey too? Is he a tri-sport athlete?
Yeah.
I kind of wish. I wish there were some tri-sport athletes.
I feel like he'd be
That's
good
not
at
really
hockey,
a thing
though.
anymore.
Yeah, he doesn't have the lateral quickness needed.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's. I mean, yeah, lots of crazy stuff happening out of those playoffs with lots of the better teams or more known teams getting knocked out early. So we're gonna have to see how that goes. A bunch of other stuff going on. I mean, I don't know what you guys are thinking of talking about now, or if we're all good. We could even go to horse racing. There's Kentucky Derby this weekend.
I will. Yeah, I need to make sure to place.
Yeah, I gotta talk to my bookie.
Oh wait, gambling's not.
It's
frowned upon, but
it's not really a school sanctioned thing.
I think cornhole is a sport on the rise.
Yeah, I'm a big cornhole guy.
Shout out Lake Forest Intramural Cornhole coming next spring.
Ooh,
Yeah, watch out
I
for
forgot
that.
about that. Yeah,
Everyone
that's,
sign up for it.
Yep.
you guys are kind of lead ambassadors in that
If
whole
you
project.
are interested, email me at 2030016 at lfschools.net. Again, 2030016 at lfschools.net.
Yep, this is going to be the next big thing.
Okay.
This is going to be bigger than varsity football.
Do you guys think you could actually make it on like ESPN The Ocho with some cornhole
No,
coverage?
wait a second. Right here. Pro cornhole players find a home on ESPN in a new sports league. I'm not sure if this is Dirty Bags cornhole or what.
I mean, if they like show esports on ESPN, I don't know why they shouldn't be able to show intramural high school cornhole.
Yeah,
Yep.
it sounds like it's competitive and should be some good coverage.
Can we talk about golf, actually? I mean,
sure,
this is
absolutely.
obviously far removed from Tiger winning, but I just want to put it out there.
It's one of the biggest stories of the year. Go
Steve
ahead.
Stricker is better than Tiger Woods.
Okay.
Stricker is the epitome of consistent,
Hmm.
and Tiger, he fades away for 9 years. Let me think, 2008, 11 years.
11,
Let me
yeah.
think. Stricker's been steady, even keel all throughout his career. It's just, if you can't, I don't think Tiger is the GOAT. I think Steve Stricker, possibly Matt Kuchar. Matt
Okay.
Kuchar might be better than Tiger.
Cooch is a fan favorite for
Vijay
sure.
Singh, I mean, he had that run-in with PEDs, but Vijay Singh's also up there. I just don't. I think Tiger is the most overrated athlete in the history of sports.
Okay. Yeah, we're gonna have to see what happens. The PGA coming right around the corner.
it's
the next
May
majors.
this year. It's
I know
May,
a
it's
lot.
weird.
a lot sooner than expected. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I think golf got super lucky here with. I mean, regardless of how good you think Tiger is, he brings in the crowds.
Yeah, it's a cool storyline, but
Yeah.
I would
mean,
have rather
so,
seen Kuchar win.
considering
Like,
that,
the
I mean,
elusive
it's-
first major.
Considering that, I mean, it's kind of lucky that they have the PGA all the way moved up to May, because now it's like we get
You're-
right back
yeah.
into a major. So, yeah, we're gonna see what happens there with Steve Stricker too, for sure.
Yes.
Yep. Okay. Anything else you guys want to talk about here? Kind of went all over the board. Got lots of hot takes in.
Let me check. I think let me think of any other takes. I mean, we're only a month away from the French Open. Talk a little tennis.
Okay.
Yeah,
Any
who do you
tennis
think's
takes?
gonna win that, Joey?
I mean, haven't really geared in on tennis right now. Generally, the only thing that goes on this early is the Aussie, and I barely watch the Aussie unless you get no sleep.
At 2 a.m., yeah.
Yeah.
See, us tennis film grinders like myself, we get up and we watch that little ESPN2 action at 4 a.m.
Oh yeah.
But I think, I'm telling you, Kei Nishikori,
Okay.
watch out for him. I think he will finally win a major or a Grand Slam. Still in golf, but I think Federer's starting to fade. Like, he had that one run. He won what was it, Wimbledon?
That was nice.
When was that? Was that last year?
Yeah, I
Everything's
think so. Wait,
blurred
hold on,
right
let me
now.
see. It
Um,
was a nice one
But
for
he
sure. I
and
remember that.
Nadal are they're starting to show signs of age for real now.
Yeah.
After
Definitely more excited about the end of the Nadal era than the Federer era for
yeah,
sure.
I mean, everyone loves Roger, but they're really starting to.
yeah.
Yeah, I think one tennis player could be on the rise in like a decade or so is Jada Coster. If he keeps it up with the JV
Yes.
tennis and stops stealing takes.
Yes.
So you guys see more talent in his tennis.
Yeah, I mean, with his athleticism, he gets all over the court. But definitely on the rise.
Okay, let's see it here. So, did he win a Wimbledon? 2017. That was the year that that happened. Okay, yeah. There's the answer to the Roger Federer question. But yeah, okay. So, J.D. Coster is your collective guy to look forward to as far as tennis goes?
If he stops stealing takes and has garbage takes.
I demand that he gives a personal apology to Stephen A. Smith. Because I want him to come on air and apologize to Stephen A. Smith. We're going to send it into First Take, and he will, because it's us Big J journalists, we have integrity and respect for our business, but Jay just doesn't. He just lacks it.
Yeah, we're gonna see.
That's why
what
his
Stephen A. would say.
That's
to
why his
Mr.
podcast
J.
Bear Down
Coster.
Weekly isn't as successful as this one.
What's the Bear Down Weekly podcast?
Apparently, it's a thing where they just talk about like their favorite bears or something.
Wow, that sounds like biased journalism.
Yeah.
Disgusting.
Yep, definitely some local coverage out of that. But okay, any other sports takes you guys got?
Lawrence Turono winning the Boston Marathon with a 2:07:57.
Let's talk about running.
Big
Yeah.
shout out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you guys are kind of runners, so I guess there's
we
that.
are, yes, devoted athletes.
Yeah.
Clearly.
I mean, watch out, Ethan Lane. Conference coming up, county tomorrow.
Yeah, I've been working really hard.
I think Ethan could be going pro soon.
Okay. Yeah. Definitely a great runner to look out for
Yes.
sure.
Explosive.
Yeah.
I think we should wrap this up with our just like go back to the NBA.
Yeah.
Let's talk about who we think is going to win each major award.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, let's run through
Coach of the Year, Jim Boylan.
it. Okay.
Yeah, in a landslide.
Say comeback player of the year. I'm not sure if this works as a second year player. Well, I guess he's kind of third year because he was in the G League. But Ryan Arcidiacono.
Mhm.
Let me think. I think Zion Williamson could win player of the year.
Yeah,
seems like
I
a
think we should
reasonable-
give it to him this early.
Yeah, because he's so good. Even
Yeah.
though
Yeah.
Bonzi Colson Rookie of the Year.
Okay. Let's see. Sixth man of the year. Who you guys got?
Ryan Arcidiacono. Well, he started at the end of the year, so I'm not sure how that would
Yeah,
work.
I think
Could
it
win multiple
disqualifies
awards
him.
like that. Wow.
So yeah, he's just an all-around stud. I actually sixth man of the year, even though he's not on a team right now, probably Cameron Payne.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
I mean, you do heart Cameron Payne. We also have a
I
video
do.
of you sinking
I do.
in your boat on the
I
physics
was
race.
putting on a show for the fans. I was giving the people what they want.
like
It was
yeah.
our reenactment
choked.
of the Titanic. We got a German U-boat shot us, and we hit a glacier.
Wow.
It's
That's impressive.
It's a true fact.
Yeah, MVP Otto Porter, as I previously said.
Yep.
Yep.
Got the Bulls winning again.
Any shouts for defensive player of the year? I think that's the last one we did.
Oh,
cover.
that's the most important
Yeah,
one.
defense wins championships.
I think I got to go
Jim Boylan.
Well, Jim Boylan. Oh, he took a charge against the Denver Nuggets. If you haven't seen it, check it out. Grittiest coach ever. Ever.
Yeah.
Executive of the year is a tough between
I think you got to go
Gar
Paxson
Forman and John Paxson.
because they hired Jim Boylan.
Yeah.
Everyone. I don't understand the Gar Pax hate. Everyone hates on them. They clearly see something. They know
They
how
really
to identify
haven't been
coaches.
that bad.
No, they haven't.
I mean-
Cameron Bairstow was a good draft pick. Who thinks that's bad?
I mean, yeah, who cares about second round picks? But also, like, I mean, the Taj Gibson trade.
That's
like, that was a bit-
fantastic. I don't know what my
I
only
mean, we got
problem is with them
Campaign.
cutting Campaign. That was a great trade. Doug McDermott is washed up. Taj Gibson's contract was expiring. Campaign was our point guard of the future, but they just gave up on him. I blame
I
Ryan
mean,
Storr
everyone
for
gave
that.
him so much crap for that Jimmy Butler trade, but we ended up with Zach LaVine, and
Well, Zach LaVine
and
sucks
Butler
at
didn't really
defense,
work out
but-
for the Timberwolves.
But the finisher, Larry Markkinen, I
yeah.
think he's a
Markkinen.
solid pick.
yeah, I like
Okay.
that pick. And Wendell Carter, I think he's going to be good.
Phenomenal defensive player.
Yeah, he's going to win Defensive Player of the Year next year. You heard it here first.
Okay. Any other NBA award related stuff, or should we wrap it up?
MVP, it's tough between Giannis and Pat Connaughton. I think I got to go Giannis, but Pat, I know technically the playoffs aren't taken in consideration for the MVP, but everyone knows they are. If Pat can really go off, I think he could make a case.
Okay. I think we should probably wrap it up. But that was a fun segment, just kind of seeing where the hot takes took us.
They're not hot; they're true.
Yeah. Well, you know, we'll see what happens for sure. But yeah, it was fun sitting in with you guys and just doing a nice kind of free flowing segment.
Yeah.
So
Thank you for having us.
yeah, thanks for
Raul,
being on.
Yeah.
We're coming back on. If you're not on, we were taking your spot.
Ooh.
And then just happy holidays. Go Dogs.
Let's get it crackin'. Let's start the session. Mars list the competition, balls by that action. You can never debate it. This is actual fact. Stephen A with the flavor, baby. I skip through a track. I'm like, say what? Say what? What's up with all my haters? I'm a ball when I perform. So my jersey's in the air. I'm allergic to my haters. Every morning I prepare. Let the clothes I can wear just like them Oregon players. Yeah, quack, quack. What it do? Rap like it's nothing to it. Matter of fact, you can ask hard and I'm cooking too. Base guard cooking too. Nah, look at you. Great mind. They embrace mine like a crooked tooth. 4 takes, that's you. 3 takes, not me. 2 takes if you lucky. First take, stop me. 4 takes, that's you. 3 takes, not me. 2 takes if you lucky. First take, you got me.
Okay. Hope you guys enjoyed that segment. It was pretty fun to record. Obviously, they've been waiting to do it for a long time. We've been waiting to do it for a long time. So it's just fun to get them in the studio just to let them kind of do their thing, I guess. So it was a good segment. But we're going to move on. Typically, this is where your scouting is, but obviously you just kind of got a giant version of your scouting, so we're not going to do that this week. But you can always still call in. Make sure you do. 224-544-9330. That's our number. Leave a message in the voicemail box. We'll answer the question on the show. It's always fun, if it comes from those long-time caller, first-time listeners or not. So, make sure you do that. But we're just going to move straight into They Don't Scout Like This. And this is kind of one of the big topics we're going to talk about. And it's been one that that has been talked about for such a long time. And it's the conversation of robo-umps and if they should be introduced to the MLB. Basically, should we have computerized like strike zones, and should we not have human umps like we do now in baseball? And if strikes should just be called kind of like tennis, how they have that technology, if that should be used. So Michael, basically the issues presented as 34,294 missed ball strike calls in 2018.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what people are looking at. And this is bringing the conversation, should robo-umps enter the game? So what's your kind of opinion on this right now?
Yeah, so the study done by Boston University, it's like you said, over 34,000 incorrect calls, incorrect balls and strike calls in 2018. So, that works out to be 14 blown calls per game, and it's 1.6 per inning. So, I just think that the numbers can be kind of overblown. I think that in the grand total of things that, there's going to be human error in the game of baseball. But, I just think that just taking away the human aspect of the game, I don't think it does anyone any good. I just think that kind of the things that really aren't even shown, like in these statistics, such as, I guess entertainment of, an umpire getting into it with a batter. That's fun too for
it's
a
part
fan.
of the game, entertainment. When baseball needs entertainment, so that's part of it.
I just can see how boring the game could turn really, really fast in the middle of the regular season if on a hot summer day, if instead of having like a Dusty Baker, back in the day, just going out on the field and giving it to an umpire.
Right.
They just look it up for the Cubs. He's had plenty of those hot summer days at Wrigley where he would just get out of the dugout and just give it to the umpire. But that's fun. I think for a fan being at the game or watching from home, that's just an added entertainment that you're not going to get if you take out the human umpire aspect of it. But I just think that if you get one call wrong a game, or an inning, I just think that's not a big deal at all. If there's a lot of borderline pitches too, like that, it could probably go either way in the study. I don't know how they decided, like the borderline pitches in the strike zone, if however many that accounted for in the incorrect balls and strikes. But I just think there's a lot of calls that could go either way, and I just think that taking that away, it takes away a part of the baseball too. But I'm a little concerned, especially if some players too have made their stance that they're pro robotic umpires too. But I just think that once they move to that, I don't think that the players will be fans of it either.
Yeah, you guys know I have a organization over player bias, right? This is the one situation, and it's kind of a general baseball thing, I guess. I stand with baseball players a little bit more than I stand with players in most pro sports. But I think that while it would help with, obviously getting rid of all these botched calls that we're seeing, it's kind of a stat that's blown out of proportion considering how many pitches are thrown a season. Like, that's a crazy amount, and that probably, I don't know the exact number, but I assume if you put that ratio underneath this number of incorrect balls and strike calls we're looking at, like, it's probably makes the percentage pretty small, especially considering that it's human error. Also, as you said, it's fun. It's part of the game. That's the other thing, though. It's part of the game. I stand with players in that I believe, specifically with baseball, that there's a very, very specific way that baseball is set up where the rules play out in kind of this, it's always kind of been that way. And the way that it plays out, makes the game kind of, I want to say perfection. And there's just kind of that flawless nature to baseball with the current rules where it should just be left untouched. There's something just fitting, and there's something just natural about, an umpire calling a strike after a pitch. It just seems to be like part of the ritual of what baseball is. So
Yeah.
to remove that would totally be changing the game, and I don't think it'd be in a positive direction.
Yeah. I think it's trying to make it too perfect. I mean, you're just trying to.
Right.
I think you're just trying to mess with the game too much.
I think culture-wise, like tennis does this, and it works because they were able to work it into the system, and it worked out. And unfortunately, and they did it in a way in which it was limited, and where you could still get the fun stories about tennis players freaking out over bad calls, but you still got improvement. Here,
Yeah.
I feel like if you put in computerized strike zones, that's every pitch. You're
Yeah,
removing an entire talking point of a game, which is somebody freaking out over a bad call. So, lots of stories that are pretty close to baseball wouldn't happen without, human error and just, the natural kind of beauty of human error, I guess. It's frustrating, but that's what it is. It's part of the game. So
And tennis too. I mean, like it's kind of baseball already put in, I guess, instant replay. With tennis, there's not going to be. It's not every single call that they're going to make is going to be.
There's specific
robotic,
challenges,
but it's kind of just instant replay basically for tennis to see if the ball's in or not. I mean, that's kind
it
of
just happens
baseball
to be
already.
computerized. I mean, that's really the one difference.
I mean, baseball already has adapted to that too, and instant replay has been great. But I think that's as far as the technology should go in baseball.
Totally agree.
And I think even seeing that, I mean, it can get long and boring with just instant replay. I think it still needs to stay. It's been a great addition to the game, but I mean that can get boring too. But I just think having just a robotic umpire, just not having a guy behind home plate will be really hard to get used to. I think as a fan to watch the game of baseball. It doesn't matter what age you are, just to see something like that happen. That'll be a really odd day in baseball to see something like that change.
For sure. Okay, so that was They Don't Scout Like This, and we're going to move into our last segment, as always, which is Just Wait Till Next Week. So for me, for Just Wait Till Next Week, it's pretty simple. Looking forward to more hockey, seeing how the second round plays out. And we did not mention it. Hopefully things are exciting enough where they get kind of a headline run on the show. But the Kentucky Derby is this Saturday. May is here, so we know what's coming. On Saturday, first leg of the Triple Crown. Game winner is going to be my early pick right now for Saturday. He's also trained by Bob Baffert. If you don't know who Bob Baffert is, he trained the last Derby winner, I'm pretty sure, and he also trained American Pharoah, who was the horse who won the Triple Crown just a couple years back to break that long drought of horses who were never able to win all three of those races. So we're gonna have to see what happens. I generally don't pick a winner of the Kentucky Derby until the day of, so this is kind of new for me. But game winner is going to be my early pick as far as that goes. Michael, what are you looking forward to for next week?
I'm hoping that the Rockets can come back and
make things exciting.
Make a series again. I just hope that James Harden's all right and he can. I mean, the whole team can get over what's happening. Just put what happened against Golden State the first two games on the road behind them. Put whatever happened in the Bay. Just put it in the back burner. Don't even worry about it. Just it's a fresh start in Houston. If they can just win one game, I think, just make it 2-1 in these next. I think that changes the whole series again. That it gets some confidence back, and who knows what could happen. Just winning one game, making a 2-1 series. You never know in the NBA, and I think that's a series to look forward to. But also the one I'm most looking forward to is, besides, of course, I'm kind of biased now towards the Trailblazers after I've been talking them up the last couple weeks. I think that's another great series, like all of them are. But the one I'm most looking forward to is the Bucks and the Celtics. Just being the Eastern Conference series. I mean, the two best teams, I think, in the Eastern Conference. I'm just looking forward to the Bucks, and hopefully they can make. I'm a little biased to them, I guess, being there, the closest team we got with the Bulls being so bad. But I just hope being a smaller market team like they are, I mean, that'll be exciting for them to make an Eastern Conference Finals and heck, even the NBA Finals. I think that'll be a great thing for the team and for the city of Milwaukee.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so that's all we got today. So congratulations for sticking through, listening to this whole thing. We appreciate it, especially sticking through that guest segment because it was a crazy segment.
Yeah, I got to watch that later.
Just kind of be entertained by it and laugh at it. Of course, that's what you have to do when you listen to them, and that's why we had them on. So they went all over the place, and I guess that's just kind of the nature of it that makes it fun. Subscribe to listen on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Breaker, Pocket Casts, and RadioPublic. Give us a positive review. Subscribe to watch on YouTube. We need more subscribers. I don't think we're picking up subscribers, and we need more for sure. We got to reach that goal by the end of the year.
Was it 94 million, 95 million?
It's probably 95 by this point. Let's check.
We're losing ground.
96.
Oh,
we're falling back, guys.
that's all right.
It's fine. We'll still get there. I have confidence that we'll get there eventually.
We still got a month.
We still got a month.
Yeah, we're
it's
good.
fine. Hopefully Carson and Peters won't drive too many subscribers away. Hopefully we don't lose the 6 subscribers.
Or we could
already
gain.
have.
We could gain them.
We could gain off of them. Hopefully, we'll see. Of course, read the 4 Scout. A lot of good articles. Other than the ones we already mentioned. Shaw put up a Bear Down Weekly since we last put up an episode. Stephen Young has an NBA playoffs kind of continues coverage thing, and then Shaw also has a North Suburban Conference alumni article that was pretty
good.
That was pretty good. It was fun to edit that one. Yeah, that's basically what's going on in the sports section right now. So get ready for another week of Sports Scouts next week, and in the meantime, we'll keep on scouting. All right, yeah. Mother's Day coming up. Another holiday, but yeah.
It's not what I'm talking
Cinco
about.
de Mayo.
Also happy.
Cinco de Mayo.
Not talking about Cinco
Yeah,
de
that's true.
Mayo. I'm talking about May Day, but yeah, also Mother's Day and Cinco de Mayo. A true Hispanic holiday.
Yeah, C.
Okay, thanks guys for being on. This was awesome.
Did you actually just do that? Oh my God.